Let's do it.
All right, gang. Good Friday morning to you for Filler Up Phil. Um, the name's funny to me. Nikki has brought a very special guest, a young and a newish realtor who's absolutely crushing and destroying real estate. And Nikki, just tell us a little bit about our guest today.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you much because Joe's really good at telling us all about himself. But this is Joe Birkman. He's been in the industry about 2 years, and he reminds me so much of Jay. You guys, he is like invited to be a mega icon agent with a team. So he said, "Oh, well, if I'm going to be a team, I need to get my broker's license too." So if you know anything about being a mega agent, mega icon agent with EXP means you sell a whole lot of real estate. And he's only done it in the last 2 years. All himself, all from scratch. He is the bomb, and I love Joe. I've known Joe for many years now, and today's his birthday. So,
Oh, should
Joe, take it,
should we
Joe.
sing now or at the end? Let's sing at the
At
end.
the end, at the
Okay.
end.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you very much. That's a phenomenal introduction. From my amazing friend. Nikki's awesome. I think I've known you for like almost 6 years now, which is pretty lit. And most people can't tolerate me for more than 11, 12 months. So, pretty exciting that Nikki likes that joke. So that being said, super excited to have you as a friend and really grateful for what you've shown me in the real estate business. You've been licensed for a really long time. First real estate agent that I know who bought a purple Louis Vuitton bag. That's Nikki Creel. And she showed me a lot of the fun shit that we can do as real estate agents. I had zero intention of actually getting licensed as a real estate agent, at all. In the beginning, in like 2017 ish, I actually built a mortgage brokerage. In 2020, I tried to get my mortgage license and I failed the exam 3 times. I don't have a high school diploma. I have zero formal education. I was homeless when I was 18. And, my dad was diagnosed with cancer when I was like 13 and a half. I was sexually abused from the ages of 8 to 9. I tried to kill myself twice actually today. Not today, like right now, but today, like, 8 years ago. I know it trips some people out when I say that. But we're just clarifying that. And that being said, one of the biggest questions that I get is like, yo, like what the fuck, right? Like you've been licensed for like, you know, 24, 25 months. EXP is actually having a problem really even comprehending the amount of production that I've done. They ran they're auditing me from 3 different auditors. And they're like really just kind of like they're going through every single transaction. They're running through my bank account. They're trying to track every single dollar. And they're deleting transactions of mine that I literally have closing statements for because I can't track the funds. I'm laughing here and I'm saying, you know what, guys, like I'm about to just turn around and tell them, you know what, I don't want your mega icon. I'm not interested in it because there's just so much hype that comes with it. I've done 227 transactions in the last 25 months. So it's an average of like I think like 27 or something transactions like that every month. To be completely fair and transparent, like a lot of them are rentals. Most of them are rentals. Here in Miami, the average rental commission is about $1,300. So it makes a lot of sense for me to pursue that. But one of the big things for me that I was looking for when I first got into this business, was how can I make a lot of money quickly, right? And I realized that that question in and of itself is actually a flawed question, because if I'm looking to make a lot of money quickly, it means one of two things: either I'm not planning on being in this business for more than 90, 120 days, and I gotta close quickly, hook and book, or secondly, I don't have any confidence in myself, and because I don't have confidence in myself, why the fuck would someone choose me? If I don't have confidence. So I realized that there's two things that I have to do, right? Number one was actually learn the business, right? Was like get very, very clear on my contracts. I'm in a broker's class right now. And every time this instructor asks a question, I get more and more and more and more and more confident that I'm actually still going to be here in 2 years from now. Because some of the shit that comes out of these people's mouths, man, I swear, like it's so stupid. And you're like, hello, this is a broker's class. It's not a real estate agent class. Like you're in the wrong spot. Like you realize how these people are flying by the seat of their pants. So like, reading or everyone here's EXP, right? So like there's no like other problems with like recruiting and all
So
this shit or
far,
whatever.
Bev, where are you from, Bev?
Well, hang on.
All right.
I don't mean to be invisible.
No,
Uh,
are you with EXP, Beth?
Yeah.
All right.
In Knoxville.
Cool deal.
I had a double screen going on here, and then I just knocked a whole giant mug of coffee on the floor. So
Oh, don't do it. It's not worth it. All
I'm
right.
listening. I'm here.
Okay, good. Yeah, Joe, everybody
That's
is
what's up.
with EXP.
Yeah.
Awesome.
EXP. Absolutely. I
The
just
reason
moved
I'm saying
actually.
that,
I just
hey,
moved.
same here. Welcome to the club.
Thank
Literally
you.
just switched. Yeah, so one of the big things that I realized, and I'm saying this because I want you guys to understand the reason I'm asking. EXP is essentially something that will teach you like real estate from top to bottom, if you go through the whole thing. Not just, real estate, but like the transactional shit, contracts, things like that. The first thing I did when I got into this business, was learn contracts. Like literally, I spent a week just learning the ins and outs of my contracts, because I can't tell you how many deals I've done off market where someone tried to do some shady shit, and I had a box checked off somewhere in some sort of contract, or I had some sort of additional term. My favorite additional term is due diligence to begin once seller has delivered to buyer and buyer has accepted in writing all of the due diligence material, including but not limited to, right? Rent roll, P&L open, and we just kind of itemize everything. And then we go, and buyer notify seller in writing, right? And like, dude, like they sent us everything, but we haven't officially started due diligence. And I've done it many times. All these little games, all these little things that brokers and agents, I should say, who are brand new, who are just excited to get a listing, just excited to get a contract, in the last 24 months, that shit flew, because the sellers were just as excited as themselves to be able to sell their house for the amount of money that they were selling to. They're $5,000 here, $2,000 there. Oh shit, we made a mistake over here. We need this $5,000 credit. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care, guys. I swear a lot. I hope you don't mind. Like that, like they didn't care. They really didn't care, because they were just making so much money. But like now we're dealing with two different types of people. We're dealing with very scarcely minded people who are very, very scared as to where they're going to go, what they're going to do, because we've conditioned people that everything is cheap in this world, and the second shit actually starts hitting them in the face with reality, they start getting a little nervous. So that's something that I've been hearing from a lot of people. Oh, my leads are shit. Well, they're not shit. You just don't practice scripts well enough to know how to overcome those objections. I practice scripts like literally twice a day. Okay. So I do like calling scripts in the morning, 6:30 to 7, and then from like 11 to 11:30, or sometimes it's 11:15 to 11:45. It depends. On my way to the gym, basically, I'm on the phone with somebody else and I'm practicing for live in-person appointments.
Okay.
I'm taking two different types of.
That's huge. You're a high producing agent. You're making it happen. You're getting deals done, 20 something a month, and you're practicing your scripts.
You got to practice your scripts. The way I'm a high producing agent is by the fact that I keep practicing. You see, the trick of this game is to never feel that you got it all. Because the beautiful thing about real estate is that whenever you think you got it, you'll get a punch in the ass. It'll be like, nah, you don't, motherfucker. No, you don't. Because it's just how it works. Like there was this one deal that I got off TikTok. Okay. I got this lead off TikTok for $1.4 million. I got this lead in October of last year. Okay. This deal closed on October 4th of this year. I thought that it was going to be a one and done hook and book, all cash deal, 1, 2, 3. And here we are. Right. But it closed. Whatever, but it closed, right? And that's the beautiful thing about this business, is that like the second you start getting a little cocky, like you'll get some sort of like awakening. And the best way to protect yourself from doing that is to keep your pipeline full. It sounds very cliche to say that, but like right now, bro, we're filling a buyer pipeline. I'm starting to become the personable guy to talk to buyers, because the reality is that in the last 2 years, if you didn't have $100 million cash in the bank, and you didn't have an 897,000 credit score, and you didn't have 50 people who were ready to co-sign you and 2 people who were ready to give away their firstborn, you weren't getting the fucking house. Right. Unless you blew somebody or knew somebody or did something. Shit, I said that out loud. Sorry. But like that's just how it works. Okay. Now, that being said, as this market starts shifting a little bit, okay, all of a sudden it's like the tables are turning, right? It's like a ha ha ha, do you really want me to buy this house? What you gonna do to get me to buy this house, right? And as that turns, there's a little bit of this like misconception with sellers that they think that they're still in the game. And there's also this misconception with buyers that everything's going to shit, right? That's why it's so important to be educated, because as a real estate professional, people look at you and they take your word at face value. So if you say something, they will take it as fact. Not only that, they'll probably repeat it to other people. And then when somebody challenges them, they'll go, well, Elizabeth said that because she's a realtor, right? That's why every word that comes out of your mouth, you got to be very, very careful of what you say. That's also another reason why it's your duty and obligation to get on video and to tell your people what's going on. Because video is the number one most consumed content in the world right now. The average human being watches between 2 and 4 hours of video every single day. Now think about it. The average human being is up for something like 12 to 14 hours a day, right? The average human being eats for about an hour a day, shits for about 30 minutes a day, showers for about 20 minutes a day, right? Sits around lazy for about 3 hours, and then watches 2 to 4 hours of fucking video. So what do you want to do? Do you want to be the person who like is sending a text message saying, hey, I woke up this morning thinking about you, I'm a creep? Like, who the fuck still, like, people still send that shit? Like, it's like, why did you wake up this morning thinking about me, dude? Like, that's fucking weird. Like, what's going on in your life that you're thinking about me? Like, that's weird. Instead, you wake up this morning, you go, hey, I actually just read this article about new conforming mortgage rates. And I realized that we had spoken about a mortgage, but I never actually had a moment to really explain to you what mortgages are. Hey, I got a question for you. Have you ever had that initial phone call with a mortgage broker? If not, just do me a favor, just reply with the thumbs down to my video right here in your text message, and I'll connect you with somebody. If they don't respond, the next day, it's another video text message saying, hey, don't say that shit. I'm just checking to make sure you got my video, because they fucking got your video. I promise. They got your video. Okay. They're just not interested in replying to you. So instead, what you got to do is you got to invite them to something. Okay. You got to make them feel special. And you say, hey, Nikki, I noticed, you're probably really busy, but I was wondering if you had time next weekend. I'm actually going to be sitting down in Starbucks and I'm buying a whole bunch of people coffee, whoever wants to come and sit down with me. And I got 15-minute slots, literally just to listen to you talk. So if your husband's not interested in talking to you, your dad's not interested in talking to you, your boyfriend's not interested in talking to you, guess what? I'm here for you. Just let me know what time works between 11 and 1, and I'll be here and I'll listen to you. Coffee's on me.
That sounds like my dating plan, like for Tinder. I'm like, hey, if your dad won't talk to you and nobody else will talk to you, just call me. Real quick, I'm gonna jump in.
It's one of my pickup lines, bro.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it works. 90K in 90 days.
Let's talk about that real quick. I got
Let's
12 minutes. So 90K in 90 days is essentially the system that I had put together in order for me to be able to sell $995,000, 44 days licensed as an agent. Okay, my first 44 days looked something like this. Day 1 to 6, I had no idea what the fuck was going on, and I realized my broker doesn't give a shit about me. Okay, that was the first thing I realized. I realized that being at 100% commission brokerage essentially gave me the freedom to do whatever I wanted, but at the same time, it also gave me the freedom to do whatever I wanted, which means that I was free, which means that there was no one watching me. So, the cool thing was that I didn't have to go through any training or do anything. So I just hit the ground running, right? And I realized that there are two types of agents. There are the agents who talk a lot of shit, and then the agents who do a lot of shit. Very, very rare do you find an agent who does a lot of shit and talks a lot of shit, who does it consistently. So I set out to become that agent who does a lot of shit and talks a lot of shit, and does it consistently. And I figured out a way to do it, right? Where the way that I talk doesn't necessarily sound like I'm talking a lot of shit. I don't know if you guys had a chance to take a look at what I do online, and if not, just plug my name into Google. It'll all come up. You can find me, connect with me, and things like that. But the cadence of what I'm trying to do essentially is I'm trying to show people that with consistent hard work and effort, anything is possible. We rented out 12 apartments yesterday, and I was not even like around. Like I was sitting in a broker's class. And this is 24 months of the business. Now, here's how I did it. Okay. How did I realize that I had to do 90K 90 days? How did I realize that I had to build a $100,000 pipeline, in order to make the money? Because I knew, and I realized that I have a goal. I know where I want to be. I knew that my first year in the business, I wanted to make a minimum of $150,000. Okay. I made almost 4 times that my first year in the business. Filed my tax returns for over $400,000. Made a big fucking mistake. I should have found some sort of write-off. But hey, we're fixing that this year. So that being said, hey, listen, marriage will do funny things to you, bro. Let me just tell you that. So that being said, the idea here was that I sat down and I realized, okay, I want to make $150,000. Okay, if I want to make $120,000 after taxes, it's about, I don't know, $15,000 a month, right? So if I want to make $15,000 a month, what's my average sell price? My average sell price here in Miami, most people think, yeah, you're in Miami, you did 70 million, you're probably fucking selling $20 million properties, you sold 3 deals. Actually, my average sales price is 505. Okay. It went down by 10 grand from last year. So my average sales price is 505. Okay. So if you take my average sales price at 505 here in Miami, there's a lot of shitty brokers who take listings at 2% or 4% per side, or 4% total or 5%. So my average commission is 2%. Okay, just to be safe. So you take 2% divided by $500,000, right? It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's $10,000, right? You see, I'm not kidding when I said I don't have a high school diploma. So it's 10 grand. So on 10 grand, right? Let's say it takes me a couple of transactions to cap with EXP, right? So let's say I'm giving them 20%. Let's say I'm making $8,000 after taxes. I'm making something like 7. Okay. So in order for me to make $150,000 next year, how many deals do I have to close? I have to close 18 deals, right? Now 18 divided by 12 is how many deals? It's 1.4 deals or something like that per month, right? Which means you have to do now. Okay, let's break it down. Now, let me ask you a question real quick. Phil, in order to have a closing, how many phone calls do you have to make in order to put a property under contract?
I would say 150 or so.
150. Now, I'm not going to grill you on it. I'm just going to take that 150 number and I'm going to use that 150 number. And I'm going to say, okay, so if it takes you 150 and you want to get one contract, let's say you want to do 2 contracts a month, it means you have to make 300 calls.
Correct.
Right. So if you make 300 calls, that means that you have to have 10 conversations, 10 connecting conversations with people every single day. Because we know the law, right? 1 out of 10 picks up. 1 out of those 10 is actually interested in talking to you. Right. So that means you got to get to a point where you're putting out 3,000 calls every single month in order to get to a level where you're doing 4 or 5 or 6 transactions, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you're 3,000, how do you break that number down, right? You just divide it by the amount of days that you average working per week, per month. I'm sorry. So the average real estate agent, right, works about 310 days per year, right? Nikki has taught me that it's possible to be an average real estate agent and work 240 days a year, right? So we're going off that number because that's my goal, right? So now we're going to turn around and we're going to take 150,000 divided by 240, right? How much money is that per day? The point is, when you follow the formula, what ends up happening is you're now, number one, you understand what your time is worth because you know how much money you're walking out this year with. So if you're walking out this year with 10 grand and you work 100 hours, right? It means that every single hour is worth, I think, $100, right? 100 times 100 is 10,000. So every hour is worth $100, right? So you got that. Now, what's going to end up happening is if you're not going to increase your work, which just, by the way, I'm gonna leave you guys off with this, just a little point to think, okay? Here's what's happening in the market. The market is adjusting itself to where we are having to put out, Andrea will tell you this because she does a lot of dialing with me. We have to put out an additional 35% output to get the same amount of input that we're getting this time this same time over last year.
So you're putting out 35% more work to get the same result.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Jay was telling us the other day.
Mm-hmm. And here's something even more than that. Okay. Let's dig into this even deeper. Sales prices are going down by an average of 10%. So what's going to happen is not only is your production going to have to increase, you're going to have to start actually getting more deals to sell the same volume amount. Now, someone like me who's walking out of 2022 with $40 million closed, right? Another 10 million pending, right? Am I nervous? No, I'm not nervous. You know why? Because I'm walking into my 3rd year in this business. So that being said, what I'm looking and doing is I'm trying to figure out how can I get more effective with my communication, right? And one of the big things that I've been focusing on right now is learning how to leverage different types of automated follow-up and automated systems to be able to plug into to start contacting people. I have 108,000 people in my database, okay? And my average cost per lead over the last 24 months is about $1.40, okay? So $108,000, 108,000 leads means I have about 150 grand worth of leads sitting in my database, right? And believe you fucking me that I'm not gonna let that shit sit there, right? And just burn because it's $150,000. That's 3 times average income of a Miami-Dade County school teacher. Okay. So that being said, right? And when you sit here and you think about that, it's like, holy fuck, like that's crazy that I have that amount of money sitting in leads, right? And now it's very easy that when you have that amount of money sitting around, first of all, then you have it sitting in leads, right? What's your biggest solution now? Oh, keep calling. Oh, keep dialing. One of the things you got to learn how to do is how to be more of a better, effective communicator, right? It's not just the fact that I've sold, you know, the numbers that I've sold is what makes me attractive, because at a certain point, people think I'm cocky. That's all that makes me attractive, right? All I do is share my numbers, right? What I did was I tie stories to every big closing that I do, every deal that I do, every closing that I do, every listing that I put out. I add some sort of backstory to it, right? I'm not just standing in front of my car, right, wearing, you know, a nice fit and then just saying, hey, what's up? I'm cool. It's not. Listen, I'm here on fucking Thanksgiving taking drone shots, right, for our client, right? And yeah, happens to be I'm dressed nicely. I mean, that's just part of the 6% you're paying me. You know, I gotta look presentable. I'm representing you as your agent. So, you know, it's all about like that's the mindset. The mindset isn't, oh, I'm trying to flex to show you what's going on, to show you how I can do because I'm awesome. Like I'm over that shit. I might have done that. I got into real estate 4 years ago.
And to who are you sharing that story? Like, where's that going?
Facebook, baby. Facebook. Facebook, social media, TikTok. I mean, I got this video on TikTok. I didn't even say shit, but like I got 300, almost 60,000 views. You know, people respect consistency. I'll put it out to you like that. And the 90K in 90 days, that whole program is basically running for 90 days straight. Right now, I'm doing a 30-day live video challenge, right? The 30-day live video challenge, one of the biggest things and the reasons why I continue doing it, I'm on like my fourth or fifth one, right? The reason why I keep doing that is because you know, one of the big things for me is just showing the people that, hey, like I can show up, right? And then I have other real estate agents who now are here local to Miami, right? And are like, hey, dude, I see you keep showing up. I see you keep doing this. You know, what you got going on? And then I sit here and I explain it to them and they go, wow, dude, what else do you have? You know, what else can you do? What else can you offer me? And then it turns into a conversation more of like, hey, well, let me ask you a question. You know, what's the most frustrating thing for you right now that you're trying to deal with your broker? Oh, well, I hate that they're not available when I'm writing a contract. And I go, listen, dude, I actually have like a support line that you can call anytime. Why don't you hit me up next time you're writing a contract? If, you know, if you ever need a second opinion, if you're ever not sure of something, you know, feel free to hit me up. Guess what? We signed, excuse me, another agent this week, you know, literally just because I was available to answer her calls. So now all of a sudden she feels special. Guess what? I turn around and I go, hey, look, you know, we're actually starting this new program thing right now. And then, you know, I hype it up a little bit. And then what do you know? She signed. So here we are. And I can go on and on and on. And honestly, like I can continue. But the thing is that I got this meeting at 9 o'clock that I got to bounce out for, that I just pulled up to. I'll tell you this, just because, you know, Nikki brought me on here once doesn't mean it has to be the first and last time. If all y'all were able to tolerate me and you know, appreciate anything that I brought here, then it'd be an absolute pleasure to come back and make Nikki look good by showing off what type of cool friends she has. And you know, by getting back on here. You know, I do classes fairly often. I'm doing a class on the 15th, and then I do one every Wednesday. Like systems trainings, just a little bit about what's going on for us, what's working for us. I never charge for any of my shit because I'm very proud of the fact that I don't have to charge for any of my shit. So you know, the people who can't like make money in real estate, those are the people who charge. I make a shitload of money in real estate, and that's why I get back. So I definitely think that that's one of the things that has helped me. It's been amazing being here. You know, and thank you again for the opportunity. If you guys have any questions or if there's anything at all that I can help you with, the name that's on the screen is the exact same way that my name is on Facebook. So go find me on Facebook, shoot me a message, ask Nikki for my number, call me, text me. No sales pitches here. If I got the time to talk to you to help you out, I'm all for it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Joe. Good luck in
Thanks,
your
Joe.
appointment. We're going to stay on just for a minute so you can peace out and duck out on us. Okay.
I shall. Andrea's gonna stay in as well. Feel free to grill her if she has any questions she's uncomfortable with. She'll yell pineapple.
She's excited about that. All right. Thanks so
Awesome.
much, Joe.
Later.
Bye. All right. That is a man full of energy and life right there. He is I would call baller. I mean, he is out there getting it done. So he didn't get scoosh. What are some takeaways that that we could have taken away from that quick conversation, and we'll wrap around. We'll have him back on, maybe nail his feet down a little bit, and have him like focus a little bit. What were some takeaways that you just heard from this guy that's full of life and energy?
I don't know. Like, I think of how someone said, like, Beyonce only has 24 hours in a day, too. And I was thinking about that, and I'm like, this man, I think, makes more use of his time than Beyonce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like, very impressive motivation and drive, and just like phenomenal results.
definitely. Buddy?
It's hard to imagine all that is one person, like all that production.
Yeah,
How's there enough
correct.
time?
Yeah.
But
So that's the thing is,
So-
he's 26 today, you guys. He's 26. He's young. He's I was hoping that you would get one thing from him, because you can't absorb Joe. You can't absorb him like that. It takes a lot to get used to him. But if you can get one thing out of what he said, that's the most important thing. That's what I try to do at every meeting. I try to take one thing away. So yeah, he's a lot. He's a
Yes.
lot.
Brian, you hit unmute real quick a second ago. You're about to say something. What do you got on your mind?
Just practicing scripts, role playing, he produces that much and he's still, and I think that we could definitely benefit from that.
Definitely.
Practice different scenarios.
Yeah.
But I want his drive and motivation. I mean, I'm driven, but man, he's got it going on. That's
Yes.
awesome. So
The man practices scripts twice a day.
yeah, I mean,
What do you say, 6:30 in the morning? And then when he's at the gym, he's on a call with somebody doing like practicing calls with him.
yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, maybe we could do something like that, in our firm,
Let's set
somehow.
up. You teach me to work out, Brian, and I can go through calls with you.
I got you.
All right. Bev, did you take anything away that you
Yeah, I'd say the script thing was big. And you really gotta realize how many phone calls you have to make. That
yes.
you are trying to work, but you got to spend a lot of time on the phone just to continue to drive new business into the pipeline. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And the only way to consistently make those phone calls is to do what with your time? You have to
Time block.
time block. You got a time block. You got to say from 9:03 until 10:07, I'm going to make these phone calls every day. It's so important. It is so critically important. All right, guys, we are about to be out of time here on the Zoomy Zoom. Any comments, questions, commentaries?
That's my first time in. I appreciate it. It's very
Come back next week for sure. Okay.
yeah,
And
it was awesome.
Invite some people.
Yeah.
And then for all of us here, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to give away an EXP secret. So if you're interested in how to make even more money than just by selling real estate, contact us. Let us know. I'm going to stop the recording now.